What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Justin Davis. Today, check it out, we're at my desk and I'm gonna show you all the bells and whistles that the Angela145 has. This is a new quad from Skystars and they've made some pretty cool stuff in the last year, but this is probably one of the most versatile quads they've ever made, because not only is it a little bit smaller than a 5-inch type of profile, this one is 3-inch with prop guards, onboard camera shooting 4K. You also have the option for GoPro with the TPU mount that comes along with it with about 35 degrees of tilt. Plenty of space back here for even as large as a 1300 or 1500 battery if you want to run it. It does come with an XT30, but I'm not going to get super into the specs right now. What I want you to see though is the versatility of this quad. So we're going to take it out to a bando, we're going to hit up a playground, and we're also going to do a little bit of cinematic flying out on the beach and take some chances down by the ocean and by the water. So let's go ahead and fire it up now with a 4S 850, a 1300. You're going to get close to around 3 minutes to 5 minutes flight time, depending on your flight style and how much wind there is on the day that you fly. And I'm also so excited because we're flying with the T16 today as well. Mine is here, the Jumper T16. I'll have a full review of this coming up on the channel. Super easy to set it up in whatever protocol you have on your receiver, whatever receiver you use in DSMX, FR Sky, Fly Sky, Futaba, and on and on and on and on. This radio will pretty much do everything, just about any quad out there on the planet. So let's go ahead out now and let's do some flying. We'll come back in and I'll show you some of the specs on this quad. Here we go guys, you're gonna love this. Wave at it.
Hi.
Wave. All right guys, welcome back from the break. So, I mean, let's just jump right into this. The first and probably the best thing about this version of the quad versus the other one, it's around the $200 price point. This one has the onboard RunCam hybrid 4K real-time DVR with your analog camera down here. What's special about that is it does have camera control, so you can use your sticks on your transmitter to be able to go in and change your camera modes on the fly, which is neat. You can set that up straight inside Betaflight, which is really cool. It's all set up in the ports for you already inside Betaflight, and it is running around 3.5 on here as well. Kind of an older firmware, but it is a fairly solid flight controller. It's an F4 flight controller on this Angela frame, and it is a 20x20 stack underneath here. A little bit hard to see, but I'll just zoom in between these ducts right here. And the input voltage on that is going to be 2 to 4S. You can run 3S, and I was doing power loops with 3S, which was really nice. You have full OSD, which by the time I got out there to fly today, I did not have my OSD all the way to the top inside my screen, so it was actually too low on my sky zones, and I just didn't have my laptop with me to be able to reset that. But I just put that up on the screen for you guys to see anyway. Aside from the F4, we have 35 amp ESCs, so you don't want to run anything over 4S, honestly, but it is running D-Shot 600. You also have PPM on here and DSMX type receiver support for that particular flight controller, and our motors happen to be 1408 3800 kV, and I've seen similar motors from Skystars before. You guys can see how those coils look inside there. They look okay. I wouldn't say they look super thick or super beastie or anything, but they did not give out on me, which is great. You can see 1408 3800 kV. And on the bottom, we have TPU bumpers. So what's kind of cool about this is that it does have pretty much all the TPU trimmings you could want. It has that front bumper TPU trim right there. It has the GoPro TPU mount. You have the one in the back for your 5.8 antenna right here. And what's neat about this is it also came with the receiver post back here, which I just put on. It already had the receiver wired up and everything for S-Bus. Just below that, I have my full-size beeper, which is really, really nice. LEDs, and a spot back here. If you were going to run Crossfire, you can put your Immortal T back here and run it out horizontal across the back of the quad. That is super cool. And I believe that is the analog camera, by the way. So if you break either one of these, you can probably get a new lens. Let's just look at the bottom here. There's that TPU mount. And I could see my receiver from the bottom right here, but the bind button's actually on the other side. So when you get this quad, you're gonna have to pop the top and put your micro SD card in over here on this side anyway. And you're gonna have to be able to put a driver down in there and bind in D16 mode is what you wanna do. You don't have a second option back here for another 20x20, which would have been nice. If they'd extended it just a little further, they probably could have been able to do that. And you could put an extra 20x20 VTX or whatever you wanted back there and actually make this stack a little bit less crowded up in there, but it's all the way up to the top. But speaking of that VTX, it is from 25 milliwatt 200 and 500 milliwatt switchable with smart audio, which is pretty great. And it's also an IPEX connector connecting this antenna in the very back, and I like these antennas. They're pretty beastie, and the nice thing is that they do have a sort of a horizontal mounted with a TPU bracket here, so it's just going to bend if it hits something hard, and you're not likely to break this, which is great. And the props that come along in the box are actually the Gemfan ducted version props. These are 75 millimeter props, and they are pink and black that came in my box. And they're 3-blade, but they're different. You have to see these props up close. I'll show you like a regular 3-inch prop versus a ducted prop. Another pair of props here, and these are from HQ. These are 3-inch regular style props. If you're new to this is kind of cool for you because you can see the difference here. This is your standard non-ducted type of 3-inch quad prop, and I'll just put it right over top there. It looks like these might just barely fit, but they might be sticking out a little bit too far on the tip, so you'd have to trim these back possibly. And these being already trimmed is nice because we don't have to do any trimming on this style prop. They're actually made for these type of quads, which is pretty cool from Gemfan. So the quad is on the scale now, and I'm getting 266.3 grams, and that's without the battery. My battery of choice happens to be the 4S 850 for the best power to weight ratio. That's getting me up to 368.2 grams. And with the added weight of the GoPro, we're getting up there close to 500 grams, but right at 480 grams on the dot, which is not bad at all. So some final thoughts on this frame and this power system. Everything all together, it feels like one of those quads that I could do several videos for because it just has so many types of different flying that you can do with it, and you can get away with a lot of banging around, which is really what some of us need to take those extra chances. Having this prop guard type of setup, the prop guards held up really well. They didn't break in my testing I have broken other ones in the past, like the iFlight Megabee. I did break that one. This one seemed to just kind of bounce off things and keep going, which was nice. I did lose one screw back here. And my only other kind of con about this one is I wish that it came with an XT60 instead of an XT30, because honestly I'd like to try to run some of my bigger batteries, and I didn't have my converter with me to convert it up to XT60, and so I just ran my 4S 850s, but I'm still getting like close to 4 minutes flight time out of it. And if you just slow it down a little bit, you can probably get even a little bit more. If you want a better sort of lighter weight feeling quad, if you don't want to fly the GoPro, you can take this off and fly it with a 3S 850. That's still going to get you around 4 minutes without the GoPro on board. So you can get some pretty long flight times out of this quad, have a lot of protection, and it's cool because you could take this to the skate park, you could take it to a playground when no kids are there. I found an abandoned playground with a million, actually probably millions of sand spurs out there. They were all green and brand new. It was a super angry playground, so no kids were going to come out there with all the sand spurs, but I was able to power loop the slide with it, and yeah, I think that it has plenty of punch out with the 1408s. It's kind of like the one of the top end type of 3-inch type of motors, and with Jim Fan's special design ducted 75mm props, it did really well. So I look forward to kind of testing this one even maybe a little bit more for you guys, because I think it's super dope. I do think it's worth the money. The $200 version without the 4K, I think that if you're gonna buy this one, don't worry about the GoPro. Just film with the Runcam Hybrid, because the Runcam Hybrid is really good, and it's gonna fly even better and give you a longer flight time. But I knew for some of you guys that wanted to see it, I flew the GoPro too, so I added a little bit of extra weight and reduced my flight time. So I'm thinking you could get 5 minutes out of this with a 4S 850 without the GoPro, if you were flying with some moderation on the throttle. So yeah, it's super versatile, and I think as far as rating this one, it might be around a 4.9 out of 5, because I think mostly because of the versatility. You can bando it, you can playground it, you can do some cinema with it, and you can take those chances to hit those gaps. I took some super close chances and bounced off playground gear, and mine's still working. In the past, I've gone to playgrounds and I've come home with broken stuff, because you guys know how I fly, and I usually go for that gap. It's all in it to win it or forget it. This has been another awesome review. This is the Skystars Angela145, the 4K version. Super sweet. You can check it out in the link below, and I'll also put the link down there to the regular one without the 4K gear on there, if you just want to run a GoPro and an analog camera. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Have a great weekend.